All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. Sound check 1, 2. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Sounds like a lot of you guys did from the messages in the chat there. That's good to hear. Hope you guys got to spend time with your dads, and if you are a dad, happy Father's Day to you, or late Father's Day. uh, yeah, the camera angle got changed a little bit over the weekend, but I like the background too. The whole teamwork thing, super, super important. All right. Well, let's take a look. Whoa. Um, Good morning, Sally. Prayer. What's up, Michael? Dario. That all depends. How much money can someone start with? Some brokerage firms like Nadex will allow you, which Nadex is technically an exchange slash brokerage firm, will allow you to start with $250. If you're looking to trade futures, you can look for minimum account balances around 2,000, and that'll basically get you trading a one lot. But where you should be starting is on a demo account and investing in yourself, learning the strategies and things like that it will take in order to actually trade on a real money account. No reason to risk any real capital until you've done those few things right there. So, with all that being said, good morning. It is June 17th. Hope you guys are doing well. I think we got a decent little week here shaping up. First things first, I want to start off looking at the Forex factory calendar here for the week coming up. So there's really nothing on the docket here for today. Some 1 p.m. news here for the euro. This guy is speaking, President Draghi over there. So could end up moving the euro, which could in return end up moving our markets a bit there. And then he's speaking again tomorrow at 4 a.m. I have no idea what he's got to say or how much he's got to say there to speak just a couple hours apart there. And then really nothing again tomorrow here for the U.S. markets. And then the big thing that's going to be coming up this week is going to be on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we have the 10 o'clock here. Again, we've got this guy speaking. This guy just wants all the airtime this week, apparently. 10:30, we got crude oil inventory numbers. And then 2 o'clock here, we've got FOMC economic projections, statement, federal funds rate. And then at 2:30, we've got the press conference for the FOMC. So Wednesday, I think, is going to be the big mover here for the week. And then we'll take a look at Thursday, and we'll review these each day, just make sure nothing gets added or dropped off or whatever the case is for things that are coming up. And then pretty much Tuesday or Thursday and Friday, some more euro news, and then nothing really here for the U.S. markets the rest of those 2 days. So what I think is going to be the case here this week is we're going to have a decent Monday, Tuesday market trying to finish the move that it's had so far, lock itself into a good direction. Tuesday afternoon, most likely going to be a little bit quiet though, unless some type of outside news comes into play. And then Wednesday, what I think is going to be the case here for Wednesday is we'll come in, we'll have maybe 1 or 2 good opportunities first thing in the morning there up until about 11. And then after the 11 o'clock time frame, I think we're going to be pretty much sit on hands up until the announcement. And then depending on which way that announcement goes, there may be an opportunity to continue for a swing trade into Thursday and Friday. So we'll see kind of how that shakes out. If it doesn't, then we'll have to let that settle itself out over Wednesday night, come in, and we'll get a good trade for Thursday and Friday. At least that is kind of my game plan here for this week. So we also do have rollover. So futures roll over 4 times a year. Right now, we're moving into the U contract, so the /ESU19. We're moving from the ESM19 contract, and I'll go ahead and pull this over so you guys can see here what I'm looking at. With that, you'll see right up here, this is the active contract /ESU19. This one currently has the most amount of volume, so 260,000 contracts traded on the day compared to 187,000. You can see there's about a 4-point wide spread there. I'm going to be running my analysis and trading today off of the /ESU19 contract. So I'm going to be working on the U19 contracts now kind of across the board here. So keep that in mind if you are trading through the combine and things like that. You're going to be wanting to trade the U contract as well. That one has the most amount of volume. Now, it is going to kind of goof up the charts here for a quick second, just because of the rollover. It'll kind of adjust a little bit. But we've got auto contract adjustments on the charts here, so we should be good to go on that. Now, taking a look at the S&Ps here kind of across the board, we've got a pretty quiet open, but again, there's something that stands out, which is, we can see the S&Ps here are gapping up 0.03%, Nasdaq's gapping up 0.24%, Russell's gapping up 0.15%, and the Dow gapping down actually at the moment 0.02%. So what we're seeing is we've got the S&Ps and the Dow the weakest on the day here again, and we've got the Russell and the Nasdaq for whatever reason kind of moving in tandem here like they have been over the past few days in the same direction with about the same percentage changes on the day. So I'm going to keep in mind S&Ps and Dow a little bit weaker on the day. Dow is most likely going to end up being the preferred short if there is one on the day, and Nasdaq most likely going to be the preferred long. So let's jump in and take a look at these charts and draw up some levels. So for the S&Ps here, we've got some upside profit targets that have not quite been hit just yet. We're looking up here kind of towards 29.15 quarters. Again, those levels are going to change slightly. Those used to be 29.16s here. And right now we're looking at pullbacks in the S&Ps would need to hold pretty much 28.88s here. We've got overnight lows in place. Looks like 28.9375s. Overnight highs 29.0475s. So we've kind of popped up into this range. We've sold off kind of down into this range, and we're currently trading 28.96s. So what I would like to see on the day here would be kind of a move down here first thing into 28.88s to 28.89s. So first move would be to the downside here in these markets. And I really want to see us kind of hold that level there. That'll push us through the overnight low, give us a little bit more movement there, and kind of trade down into these support levels. And then from there, would like to see the move start working its way higher. If we don't trade lower first, then I think we're going to kind of have to clear, a little bit of this area up in here, 28.9750s or so, which again, we got above that level in the overnight session here. And we've constantly traded back in and around it, pretty much the center point for the overnight trading action at the moment. So I'm going to use that kind of as a line in the sand. If we can get above that, then I'll start looking at longs again. As long as we're beneath that and not testing 28.89, 28.88s, I'm not really looking to do much inside of there unless there's some type of divergence or something like that that ends up setting up. If we crack to the downside here, then I think we got a decent amount of room to go. If we end up cracking lower there, I'll draw those levels in real time. If and when we crack, I think first target will end up being somewhere around here, 28.84s. And then I think we got to move back down towards 28.77s. But I'll do a little bit more analysis on those if and when the market cracks today. And I'll be doing that in the MLT Discord live with all of the members in there. So Nasdaq here, 75.25. So we're getting about a 20-point gap up here in the Nasdaq currently. That's going to kind of be gapping right into kind of the line in the sand that I'm looking for in this 75.2650s. We've been kind of bouncing in and around this level here for a good part of this morning, basically since like 4 or so is what I'm seeing here. And we just sold off pretty decently here. And the support levels I'm going to put in place here for the Nasdaq are going to be 74.98s. So we've traded an overnight low of 75.07s, so about 9 points away from that level or so here. What I think is going to be the case here for the Nasdaq is we're going to get above this 75.2650s. Again, it is gapping up 0.26% compared to the S&P's gapping up 0.03%. So I do think we're going to have to let this break out and then start looking to buy pullbacks here in the Nasdaq for the day, and let that run up into kind of upper level targets here. We still have these upper levels in place here. Again, these levels are going to change slightly, right? This level last week was 75.98 quarters. This week is going to be 75.7750s. Again, this was the level that we were looking for to trade last week. It traded. It was 75.98 quarters. We sold off about 160 points from there. Got all the way down into 74.35s, which used to be the level. Now that level comes down in here at about 74.1475s. So numbers are going to change a little bit on those levels. So just make sure you go ahead and delete all the levels on your chart, any drawings, whatever, and start fresh on those, at least for this week. And then if we crack under 74.98s here, I think we got a lot of room to go. Most likely kind of getting back down towards that 74.1475, I think would make the most sense to me. And then second up on the day here for strength is going to end up being the Russell. Now, Russell was a little bit weaker here on Friday. If you look at this chart, you can clearly see the Russell didn't rally and get new highs at the end of the day on Friday, right? So if we're looking at the hourly chart here, actually it'll make a lot more sense on a 5-minute chart. I'll show that. So 5-minute chart on Friday from this green line, down all day in the Russell. 5-minute chart here in the S&Ps, green all day, well, sideways all day, and then green at the end of the day, pops to new highs. NASDAQ, same thing, right? Sideways to green, and then pops to new highs at the end of the day. Same thing there in the Dow. So the Russell was relatively weaker here on the day for Friday, and again, now gapping up a bit here. So resistance levels I'm going to put in here are 1530.70s. We're pretty much at that point right now in the Russell. We're trying to keep the head above water there for the Russell. It's traded as low as 1527.50s, as high as 33.70s. So it's got a 6-point range in the overnight session, which is not very big considering the S&Ps have about an 11-point range. It is gapping up more than the S&Ps here, kind of clearing that resistance level. But my game plan here for the Russell is, again, to use it as an indicator for the day. I think this is kind of telling us something that we may be due for a little bit larger of a pullback or a sideways consolidation here, at least for a little bit. So maybe we'll end up spiking down on FOMC. I'm not entirely sure just yet. We'll see kind of how that shakes out. But this is kind of something I'm watching as an indicator here. So if the Russell does hold 1530.70s, I think we'll be good for longs today. If it starts to give that up prior to the rest of the markets giving up their support levels, then I will be a little bit more hesitant on those long opportunities, just because the Russell is not participating in that rally or even holding that support level if and when it comes down and test it. And then last but not least here is the Dow Jones, the big 30, the blue chips here. And Dow and S&Ps, again, remember, those are the two weakest on the day. Dow is just kind of flirting with that unchanged number. It's up 0.01% on the day, a whopping 3 points here in the Dow, trading 26,131s there. What I'm going to be looking for here in the Dow is we've got support levels in place here. A nice little zone here, 26,062 to 26,085. We've traded as low as 26,111 in the overnight session, so about 30 points to drop down into that level. Of all the markets, I think it's the most probable that this one actually does come down and trade that support level. If anything, it would be the S&Ps and the Dow that would get down to these levels here. And then if we can get back up through, if that support level can hold, if we can get back up through 26,161s, then I think the Dow has got some room to move. Most likely what I think is going to be the case here for the Dow is we'll end up getting this first little move to the downside. The S&Ps, the NASDAQ, the Russell, all of them most likely won't end up getting to their support levels here, because the Dow, again, is a little bit weaker there. And then once the Dow can kind of, start to come back to the party a little bit, it may even push through those levels if the rest of the markets want to hit their support levels. So keep that in mind as well. If the Dow does break here, then we've got a lot of room in this one to go. And again, it has been relatively weaker overall. It is starting to go sideways here, which is kind of something we're expecting here. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I don't even want to say it out loud, but I am hoping that we're not going to consolidate here for today and tomorrow and Wednesday morning in anticipation of that news. I still think there's going to be some opportunity there. And and I'm not going to be, I'm not completely in the sideways camp just yet for these overall markets. So that's what I'm looking for in the 4 main indices here. Gold I'll cover as we kind of start trading today in the MLT Discord there. We've got some levels in here marked up. I'm going to have to do a little bit more work and kind of redo all of these here with Friday's action there with the gap up and a little bit of a gap down this morning that's working its way back here. Again, gold's going to need a little bit of time. I think it's got a larger level to break out here. And then from there, I think it's going to be good to go to the upside. So my bias longer term here in gold is to the upside. I do not have an entry in there yet, and we'll mark up the charts in there in the Discord. And then with crude oil here, same thing. I'm looking for a move lower in crude. This 52.18 level needs to break. It's trying to break right now this morning. We've sold off, tested it, rallied back up from it. And then now came back down and trying to finally break through it. I think this leads us down into 49.86s in crude. So I'm actually going to be looking at some options today, actual options and potential with Nadex or futures to get into a position here in crude. I do think we have those crude oil numbers on Wednesday. I know we have the crude oil inventory numbers coming out on Wednesday. And I think what will happen from that move is we'll extend down into that 49.86 level that we're looking for down in crude. And if that's the case, I definitely want to be a part of that. And then one more thing on the board this morning that I'm watching is going to be BYND. So I've got a position on in here that I put on last week. I bought the 180-200 call spread. Excuse me. I paid $1.25 for that. I did it 5 times. So my risk on that position was $625 in total for BYND, and that's making the assumption and looking for BYND to get back above $180 and essentially work its way towards 200. It's getting a nice little gap up this morning, gap up of about 11-12 points here, so 163s or so. So I've got some alerts set here if we kind of pop up here and get up over these highs. So I got an alert set 185.67s. I just kind of threw a number up there. I figure that's close enough to 186.43s. And I'll keep an eye on this as well. We're going to be clearing up into kind of this area. I think it's got some room to run today. And maybe we might even be able to catch a day trade here, depending on what these options are priced at as well. So I'm going to be keeping BYND here on the radar. The only reason here, I have not traded an IPO like I've talked about since Facebook, which was like 2012 or something, I think 2013 that we concluded there. And I like the pattern in here. And if it ends up setting up and working out, we'll end up producing a pretty decent little video for that trade. And then also with this, there's a couple ways to trade IPOs, and people have had an interest in that. So anyways, that's what I got for you guys this morning. We got about 3.5 minutes till the bell, so I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here for you guys. I will be back in just a few minutes for everyone in the MLT Discord. If you are interested in joining me in the MLT Discord, there is going to be a link in the description below. That's where you guys get to see me trade live for the first hour to hour and a half each and every day. And there is a link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell notification so you know when we go live each and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And I will see you guys on the next video or in the Discord. Have a good trading day and a good start to your week.